Good morning, everybody. One of the most common questions we get when we're talking to people about their roofs is, how long can I expect this roof to last? And so just wanted to kind of talk about the four basic kinds of roofing that most people have on their homes and what you can expect out of each one. The first thing that we see and a lot of people ask us about is a second layer of shingles installed over an existing roof. We have some other videos that kind of talk about the pros and cons of that. But just real quick, adding a second layer of shingles to your existing roof is typically not what we would recommend. There's a few instances where it might make sense, but usually it doesn't. And the reason for that is that second layer of shingles can kind of mask some underlying problems. I would say if your roof has a second layer of shingles, that second layer should last maybe 15 to 18 years. Not quite as long as the full life expectancy of the actual shingle. And the reasons for that are any underlying issues that might be trapped in that second layer on top kind of creates a sandwich of the existing shingles, and they kind of start to disintegrate and break apart over time, and really what's under the top layer starts to break down and cause the breakdown of the roof. So that's the first one. The second type of roofing that we see quite often on people's homes is what are called 3-tab shingles. It's the more flat looking type of roof, and each shingle has 3 tabs, hence the name 3 tabs. Those are generally considered either a 20 or 25 year shingle, and quite often we see them last about that amount of time. A lot of the roofs that we remove that have 3-tab shingles on them are anywhere from, say, like 18, 19 years old up to 25 years old. I know one time we pulled one off that was about 30 years old, but it was a little past due. So really that 20 to 25 year range is a reasonable expectation from a 3-tab roof if it's been installed properly. And then the next type of roofing, and this is the most common type of roofing that you see installed on people's homes currently, and that's an architectural shingle or a dimensional shingle. Dimensional shingles are a little thicker, a little heavier duty than 3 tabs. Most of the major manufacturers have built in some better components, the way they're put together, the sealant that goes between the points where the shingles bond. So dimensional shingles are going to outlast 3 tabs, and we see them last oftentimes 25 to 35 years when we're asking homeowners, hey, how old's your roof, when we're going to tear it off. Most commonly we're seeing upper 20-year range, but sometimes up into the 30s. Then metal is the next option that we see. In metal roofing, sometimes people think that it's permanent and it's going to last forever. Some of them that we remove are from 1920 and 1940, 80 or 100 years old. That steel on those roofs is very thick, it's very heavy duty, and it's crimped and hemmed together, and those roofs have obviously lasted a really long time. The metal that's installed on metal roofs today is typically either 29 or 26 gauge, which is much thinner. And especially if you do an exposed fastener system, you've got screws through the surface of the metal. So I wouldn't expect 80 or 100 years out of those types of metal roofs. But we do see quite a few of them that are like 35 and 40 years old, or even more. But once they hit that age, generally they're requiring some additional maintenance to keep them in good shape, like maybe replacing the fasteners or sealing around the fasteners. So that's the 4 basic types of roofing that we see, and kind of a life expectancy on each one. And then I wanted to just mention things that can really help enhance the life expectancy of your roof. One is definitely proper installation. Making sure that the person who installs your roof knows what they're doing makes a world of difference. This year we had to remove, unfortunately, several roofs that were installed by other contractors that were less than 4 years old. 2 of them were metal, but pretty much every year we end up tearing off a couple of roofs that are less than 5 years old because they were just improperly installed. So that's one. Make sure it's installed properly by a reputable contractor. The next one is keep your roof clean. If your roof is accumulating moss or has debris sitting on it like leaves and sticks all the time, all that debris is holding moisture against the shingles, and it's not meant to do that. The roof needs to shed water, and anything that's trapping or holding water on top of a shingle roof or a metal roof, it's not meant to do that. So make sure you keep your roof clean. And then the next one is trees. We see trees cause a lot of roof damage. Even smaller sticks just hitting shingles or hitting a metal roof may not puncture it, but it's making a damaged spot that's going to break down prematurely. And typically, if we see roofs that aren't living up to their life expectancy, there's usually tree cover or something like that around, and the trees have just been kind of beaten on the roof over time. So definitely keep your trees trimmed back, keep your roof clean. And then the last one would be storm damage, is one of the things that we see really cut people's roofs life expectancy short. And the good news is on that, most insurance companies cover storm damage under homeowners insurance policies. So if you've had a hailstorm or a windstorm and you want to have your roof checked, make sure it's not been compromised, our team at Property Revolution would be happy to help you out. But I hope these tips help kind of establish reasonable expectations for what you can expect from your roof, and a few tips to help you prolong the life expectancy of that roof. Have a great day, everybody.